Today, we're going to talk about how to make your CPA work for you for free. What this means is that you're creating a relationship with your CPA, and if you create the right relationship, they're going to go above and beyond in ways that you may not expect because they want to make sure you're getting the best out of their services and that you see the most value in it. Today, I'm going to talk with Michael Smith, CPA. Do you have your Master's of Accounting?
I do have a master's.
I thought I was going to
I don't do the math though.
Yeah, I didn't put it
You're
on.
doing all this one.
No, no one knows what it means. So.
That's why I don't use it. No one cares. Once you get these 3 letters, that's all that matters.
That's true, right?
The 3 letters.
It's all
Can't
about.
pass again.
Today we're going to just go through some ideas for how you can create a good relationship with your CPA so you can lower your tax prep fees, consulting, planning fees. I'm not saying you're not going to get charged at all, but they're going to go above and beyond and they're going to be willing to work with you if you make their life easy. So like, what's one thing that could make it easy for your CPA?
So first, the personality, not your personality, but your fit with your CPA. When I take a phone call and it ends up being 90% answered, I look back on that phone call and we probably answered some great questions and helped you, but I don't charge that time because it was us bantering. We're friends. We're getting to know each other, all of those things. Getting to know them personally helps a lot in that process.
So you don't charge them for like therapy when they... I don't know. But no, that's a really good point because a lot of times clients don't realize that when they're talking about their life and what's going on, there's probably things within there that they're not thinking in tax terms that actually are relevant. So
Yes, 100%.
yeah, like I had a client that he was just talking about what was going on in his life and he's like, oh, hey, we're thinking about putting up the house for sale. We've been there for a little over a year and we just need a bigger place because our family's expanding. And I was like, well, hey, could you wait to sell it? Live there long enough to meet the 2 years requirement, get the home sale exclusion. And he was like, oh, yeah, actually I probably could. And it didn't dawn on him and we wouldn't have known if he hadn't talked about, his personal life.
100%.
So.
And I always say, it is easier to not step in poo than to clean it off your shoes. And so if you had done the sale without talking to you, there's no way to unwind that.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
So yeah, basically, don't just talk about taxes, like actually get to know your CPA on a personal level. It'll pay dividends.
Yes,
So
100%.
So what's something else that someone...
My big one is organization. And yes, I'm still going to charge you for your tax return, right? That's my service that I'm providing. But if I don't have to ask you 100 questions about what you're providing me, I can slam it out and knock it out really quick. If I know you even more, I can answer questions my staff may have or someone else reviewing the return without having to bug you. And then we stop and we start and we stop and we start. And that just ends up with more time put on your return that ends up with a larger bill. And there's no reason for it if it just is a little organization on your part.
Yeah, so are you saying that the people shouldn't bring in a trash bag with them?
No, or the worst, a full box of just nonsense.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, everything is costing more. And because everything's costing more, we have to pay our staff more. And that means we have to charge them out more. But you're really paying a high price garbage can. That makes no sense.
The good thing to do is put those tax documents at the end of the year that start coming out in early January and all the way through March for brokerage statements and things like that. Just put them in one pile, labeled tax documents. That way you have one place to go. If you have medical receipts or something throughout the year, just tally them up in like an Excel or something throughout the year.
Yes.
As you get them, you've got one Excel ready to go. You don't need to send all those receipts.
Right.
And everything. So.
And 100%, if you're going through an audit, if you gave it to us, we kept copies of it. But if I just get a number, I have to trust you. My job is not to audit your records. So if you say I spent $20,000 in fees for medical expenses, then that's what it is. Now, if it's absorbing it, I'm gonna do my due diligence and ask maybe a few questions like what happened this year, why is it so high? But other than that, I'm gonna go with what you give me. And there's no reason for me to have to tally it up and because we have to keep receipts. You're going to give me a paper document, then I have to scan it, get it in the software, then I'm going to have to pay someone to go through each one and tally it up, and that's a lot of time. You could just say, hey, medical expenses were X, Y, or Z, and it's a done deal, period.
Just make sure to keep all the receipts yourself.
Yes.
We don't need to see them, but you should keep them in case there's an audit. But yeah, you're right. It's
And
not
what's
our-
the time frame on an audit so they know to keep it that long?
So this is actually a really common question, right? How long do you keep documents in general? The typical audit time frame is within 3 years of when the return was filed or the due date, including extensions. However, there are certain situations where that time frame may get extended. For example, if there's a gross understatement of income, which means an understatement of 20% or more, they can extend that to 6 years. And then, of course, in cases of fraud, they could be indefinite. So hopefully that doesn't apply to anyone. But I still like to tell people, I think it's a good idea just in case to keep things for at least 7 years.
And I think the key point is, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, if you don't file, because you don't have to file your taxes if you don't owe taxes, but it's when you file, it starts that clock running. If you don't file, they can go back to that year anytime they want,
Right.
because you didn't file and start the statute of limitations.
Exactly.
And that's key.
No, it really is. So give me another one that people can use.
You know what? This is a pet peeve of mine, and you'll know this from working with me. I am responsive.
Overly responsive.
I'm probably over to a fault.
I think I'm done with an email. I sent it off to you, and then you respond right away. And I'm like,
Exactly.
I gotta respond again?
But being responsive, there is nothing more annoying, and on your side as well. If you have a CPA who's ignoring you for weeks, you need to find a new CPA.
Oh yeah.
Period. Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's it. If you're responsive, I just reviewed this return, I have this question, and short-term memory is still there of, okay, this is where we're at. And that saves a ton of time. And then if I end up digging into other things, it's just be responsive will save a ton of time across the board, especially to your RM, your person you're talking to, because likely he's costing a whole lot, or she is costing a whole lot more than the staff person.
I think people forget, even though we're in a technological age and things are evolving rapidly, and we've got AI and all this new software, and we're even implementing things to be more efficient. But at the end of the day, there's still human intervention along the line still, and those humans have memories and all the things that go along with being a human. So the easier you can make it for them, even if they're using software, the better it is, the more efficient all of it's going to be. So
Yes, 100%. Another big one for me, and I've been trying to explain this to clients and they don't quite grasp it a lot of times. There's less and less CPAs in the world. I think we talked about it the other day, by 2030 or 2035.
I think as of 2019, there's a study that basically said something like 70% were going to be retired within 5 years. So like basically like
Right now.
right around now.
Yeah.
I don't quote me on that. I'm going off of memory, but that covers the gist of it. It was pretty drastic.
And we're going through it in our own firm.
Yeah.
And there's more and more of them, and there's less and less people filling that void. The problem is you're talking about high-level people retiring, and we're trying to fill the bottom end of it to fill that gap, but there's still a big gap between being a brand new associate to being the Eric Freemans of the world, right? So that idea of the fact that there's less and less CPAs means there's less and less time that we can spend on everything. So when you're the client who wants to have my stuff in March or February or whatever the case may be before April 15th, you're going to have to understand that there's going to be a premium placed on that time, and you're going to pay more for that time because you're asking to be put on the front of the line. It costs money to cut the line.
So be less time sensitive, and if you are going to be time sensitive, you better get your stuff in early and organized so they can actually get it done. Don't be sending things in on April 10th expecting it out by April 13th, because it's just not going to happen.
I hate deadline work. And April 10th's my birthday. That's the deadline for me. Like, I'm not doing a whole
man.
lot of
That's
new work.
rough.
That's a rough birthday. But and it's okay to be that person, especially a large of our investors, our real estate investors particularly, have a lot of K1s that got to get out, and they've promised investors, and that's okay. We understand that, but understand that there's a premium that's going to be placed on those services.
I think that was a lot of good advice. Any last thoughts on what people can do?
We'll go back to 100% the personal relationship.
Yeah, definitely. Have lunches with them, take them out, give them a call.
No, have them buy you lunch.
Yeah.
Do it. I'm serious. Get a free lunch out of it. I'm telling you right now, get a free lunch.
I can see our expenses going up.
Here is the case of a free lunch. Take it, love it, live it.
You might actually get not only a free lunch, but you might get paid for it if you learn something new from it that saves you on your taxes. This could be a moneymaker. You don't know.
You're literally getting a free lunch
Yeah.
and free tax advice.
And CPA's got to eat too, and we eat a lot. So thanks for listening, guys. I hope you found this useful, and we'll see you in the next video.